house. So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For the third and final case for this week, we are going back to California. So some of you may actually know about this case. Even though this case happened in the 90s, it does get talked about a good amount to this day, and for good reason, considering how young our victim was, how she knew her killers, how long it took for the killers to get caught, what time it took for them to get caught, all that stuff. So if you knew of this case, definitely let me know. If you know anybody involved in the case, definitely let me know, because there's people that's obviously still alive that knew our victims, our killers, stuff like that. And let me know if you think of the killer sentence. And so with that being said, I'm just going to put my rambling and let's get started. So we're going to start with Michelle. Michelle is her legal government name. She went by Missy. So I guess apparently she preferred Missy. So we're going to call her Missy for this video. So there's no confusion. So Missy was born on February 8th, 1968. She meets Karen Severson when she's 8 years old. They become friends. Laura and Doyle would apparently move to their town in like 7th grade and apparently join the duo, therefore making them a trio. Karen apparently gets pregnant when apparently she's 15. It doesn't exactly say who the father is, but of course there's many people speculate they know who the dad is. So I'm not even going to be messy and add my take into that. Apparently, obviously, now that she gets pregnant, she apparently actually keeps the baby, has to raise a kid at the age of 15. Missy apparently, obviously, she stops hanging out with Karen as much because now you have the kids. So obviously, you're not going to be able to go out as much as you did like before having kids, right? So then apparently, Missy starts dating a guy by the name of Randy. They are only dated for a month, typical teenager relationship. Randy then starts dating Karen. So then apparently, even though they're 15, so they're little like 15, 16 years old, so they're like little minors, apparently Randy would apparently actually move in with Karen. So then Missy apparently would be skipping school regularly, stuff that teenagers be doing. She eventually gets expelled, I assume, from skipping school regularly from all the truancy. So then she gets sent to basically this alternative school where Karen also got sent to after she had her kid, because she was still trying to continue her education despite having a kid. And Lauren, apparently at some point, she got sentenced there too. So now all three of them are at this alternative school together. So then at a party, apparently, that I guess at least Karen and Missy were at, Randy apparently tries to flirt with Missy, because again, this is ex, I guess he's trying to see if he can like get back with her or whatever. And of course, Missy being a good person, she's like, hey, I know he was my boyfriend, but he's currently your man, and he's trying to get with me. So, go do with that information what you wish. I feel because you my girl, I feel like you should know. And then of course Karen, get mad at Missy. So then apparently Laura and Karen, they apparently are jealous of Missy because Missy apparently was more popular. She was getting more attention than they were. And they would even start rumors that she was sleeping with other people's boyfriends. So then on the fateful day of October 1st, 1985, Laura and Karen, they then proceed to go pick up Missy from her house to take her basically to the local park. Also with them apparently is a girl by the name of Eva. So basically it's the four of them at this park. And then once they get to where the water is at the park, oh my gosh. So basically once they then park, they then apparently proceed to drag her out of the car, start slut-shaming her. Once apparently it gets physical, Eva gets back in her car because apparently she followed the girls in her own car. She then apparently left because she didn't want anything to do with this, according to her. And then this is where apparently Karen and Laura, they apparently start cutting Missy's hair and apparently are like kicking her and stuff and being like physically abusive. So then they apparently throw her underwater, hold her head underwater, make sure until she's dead. They put a log over Missy's neck to basically like finish her off, but make sure she's actually deceased. So then Laura, I assume, goes back to her house and then calls the Avila house, Missy's house, and basically says like, hey, did Missy ever make it back home? Because she was with me, but then she left with like two guys in a blue Camaro, and I've not seen her since. So I'm just making sure she made it home okay. Basically trying to give herself a false alibi. So then 3 days later, Missy's body apparently is found at this park by hikers. And she's only identified first as quickly as she was because of the ID that was still in her school bag, because she had brought her school bag with her. So that's how she was identified so quickly. Irene, which is Missy's mom, apparently once she gets news of this fake blue Camaro tip, she apparently stops every single blue Camaro, which apparently there was a good amount because this is California in the 90s. She apparently stops them thinking this is the one that Laura may have saw. That may be the reason why my daughter is now deceased. Try to see if you have anything to do with my daughter's death, understandably, because again, she didn't know that was a fake tip. And Karen actually apparently moves in with the Avila family with her daughter, because like I said, she had a kid. Karen then basically tries to pin the blame on Randy, basically saying, Randy may be the one to kill her, because he is an ex. Maybe he didn't want her talking. And then Missy apparently was actually somewhat kind of liked in the area, despite all the false rumors that she was sleeping with his boyfriend. And apparently Randy actually almost got killed himself, getting jumped by several guys because of Karen's rumors. So there was another time she apparently tried to have Randy killed with a gun, and whoever killed him, I need you to cut off his thumb to verify that he is in fact dead. Like, bring me his thumb to prove that he's dead. And also, a little side note, apparently, Karen she has an abortion after the murder. So the 2 years go by, technically nobody's been arrested. Irene and everybody else is still believing this whole Blue Camaro story. However, Laura apparently changed her story 2 years after said murder. So now we're in 1987, and basically says, oh, well, I actually dropped off Missy because she wanted to go buy drugs at the church. But I didn't want to like throw her under the bus like that because, you know, that was my friend. And then sadly, on November 1st, 1987, Alan, who was Eva's brother, remember Eva, the roommate, the one class that she left when it started getting physical? Apparently her brother committed suicide. Mind you, her brother did not kill Missy. He had nothing to do with the murder. He committed suicide. And that causes Eva apparently to have enough guilt to go to the police about what happened. Hey, Laura and Karen, they're the ones y'all need to look at. Because I know it's like to lose a loved one now because I just lost my brother. So there you go. So then Karen and Laura are apparently arrested on June 27th, I assume 1988. Karen gets no bond. Laura gets $1 million. They both were sentenced to 15 years to life because they were minors at the time of the murder, and it's California, so you know how that be. Karen gets released in 2011. Laura gets released in 2012. So while Karen is apparently out, she apparently writes a book basically regarding like her life experience and apparently talks about the murders. I have not read it, but apparently she talks about like what happened and like stuff, like her version and stuff like that. And she only donates some of the profits to the anti-bullying fund, essentially. She claims that she's keeping most of the funds for herself because it's hard for me to find a job. Because even though, yes, I did get released after serving not that many years, if you think about it, it's hard for me to find a job because of my criminal record, because it's kind of known what I did. All you gotta do is, search me up real quick, and that's gonna pop up. So I need some money to live, essentially. So then in 2014, Missy's family, because obviously there's still surviving family members from her family, they basically try to hope that they can bring back the Son of Sam law. And basically that law is to stop felons from making money from selling their story to basically like make a book, movie, documentary, whatever, right? So then they get shot down by the California Supreme Court, and they basically say, look, basically what she did is like freedom of speech, and you can't really stop freedom of speech, okay? So then they try it again, and luckily they are able to create Missy's law, like in memory of Missy, like it's named after her and everything. And basically, this law basically says you are not allowed to profit off anything, so book, movie, documentary, like I said, etc., off a crime that you committed. If a random director wanted to make a movie about Missy, that's cool. But since you did it, you don't get to make any money off it, in the state of California at least. So yeah, that's pretty much essentially the case of, well, I guess, the murder of Missy Avila. So like I said, if you knew Missy personally, Karen, Laura, I guess Randy, Eva even, like I said, if you knew any of them, let me know down below. Because like I said, that was a lot of names. And so with that being said, I cover favorite females a week. Subscribe for more favorite females. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.